What's up guys, my name is Ace, and welcome back to another gun guide. This is the series where I go into great detail with all of the stats as well as some excellent attachment combinations for every gun in Modern Warfare 2. And in today's episode, we're moving on to the second assault rifle. This is the TAQ-56, or the SCAR-L. And starting it off as always, let's have a look at our damage profile, which is very interesting with this gun. First off, because we have 4 different damage ranges. Normally we only have 2 to 3 with guns. And on top of this, we have 3 separate body multiplier zones. We have the limbs, the lower and mid torso, and then the upper torso. And then of course we have the neck and the head. And essentially the way this works is we can get a 3-shot kill in the maximum damage range as long as every bullet hits the upper torso, or if you mix some headshots in there. And that means this isn't a very forgiving gun. It really punishes bad aim because even if you just land 1 shot to the mid torso and then 2 to the upper torso, that's not going to be enough to get a kill. You're going to need an extra shot. As for our rate of fire, this is 625 rounds per minute, which is a little bit on the slow side for an assault rifle. And what this means is our 3-shot time to kill potential is 192 milliseconds, which is very fast, but like I said, you have to really have your shots on point to get that time to kill. Otherwise, it's going to take you 288 milliseconds for a 4-shot kill and 384 milliseconds for a 5-shot kill. But then taking a look at our bullet velocity, this is standard for assault rifles at 590 meters per second. And now let's get into our ranges, which as we can see here, that 3-shot kill potential will extend out to 29 meters. That's a great 3-shot kill potential with this gun. But then after that, we have a very forgiving 4-shot kill range from 29 meters up to 45 meters. And in this damage range, you can hit them anywhere in the torso for a 4-shot kill. Whereas the second 4-shot kill range there from 45 meters up to about 55 meters, this one does require more upper torso shots to maintain that 4-shot kill potential. Beyond that though, it's going to be a 5-shot kill no matter where you shoot them in the body. As for hardcore, or what they're going to be calling tier 1 game modes, when this arrives, the TAQ-56 will have a 1-shot kill potential anywhere in the torso, neck, or head up to 29 meters, and then anything beyond that, you do have to hit them in the head if you want a 1-shot kill. Next, let's have a look at our hipfire, and as you can see here, the TAQ-56 does have the worst hipfire out of the assault rifles in the game at launch. However, not by a large margin, it's just a little bit worse than most of the others. And then let's have a look at our idle sway, which as we can see here, the sights do sway quite a bit when you aim down sight with this, and that's something you'll likely want to get under control with attachments. As for recoil, this is one of the big upsides with this gun. It is very accurate, especially for those initial shots. It kicks basically straight upwards with very little side-to-side bounce as it's kicking up. This is very easy to predict and control, which is really nice. And then let's move on to our handling stats. And when it comes to our aim down sight time, this is very solid for an assault rifle at 240 milliseconds. Then our sprint out times are normal for assault rifles at 210 milliseconds for our standard sprint out time and 310 milliseconds for our tactical sprint out time. And then finally, our reload add time is 1.35 seconds, which is better than average for assault rifles. And then finally for base stats, let's have a look at our mobility. Our base movement speed is 4.64 meters per second. This is a bit on the slower side for an assault rifle. Same thing goes with our sprint movement speed. This is 5.87 meters per second. And then finally, our aim walking movement speed is 2.46 meters per second, which again is a little bit on the slower side. So there we go, those are the base stats of the gun. Now let's move on to the barrel attachments, and the TAQ-56 only has 2 barrel attachments, so this is going to be quite easy. Let's first have a look at the ranges that we experience with the different barrels. With the first barrel, this is the 12-inch TAQ short barrel. This one actually reduces our damage ranges by 17.5%, so that's a pretty big penalty for that, especially when you consider the fact that this doesn't really improve our aim down sight time that much. Based on my hand testing, it's only about 10 milliseconds faster when it comes to aim down sight speed with this, and as a result, it's not looking too good for that barrel. As for the second barrel though, this is the 14.5-inch Tundra Pro, although in the description it says this is a 17.5-inch barrel, so I don't know which one it is. But in either case, the Tundra Pro barrel does give us a 20% boost to our ranges, which is really nice to see. However, this one does slow our aim down sight time down to about 300 milliseconds, so we're adding about 60 milliseconds to our aim down sight time, and that is a noticeable downside. As for the recoil with these barrels, since that's the other big stat that these barrels will impact, when it comes to that 12-inch TAQ short barrel, you might notice the vertical magnitude isn't any worse than the base. In fact, it's slightly better than our base recoil. However, we do get a lot more of that horizontal recoil, especially a little bit later on in the recoil pattern. Honestly, you're still pretty accurate with the first few shots fired. However, with sustained fire, you will definitely start to notice that this is harder to control than the base recoil. At the end of the day though, I don't see enough benefit with this barrel to really ever consider using it, since it barely even helps with aim down sight speed. As for the second barrel though, that Tundra Pro barrel, this one definitely helps with our recoil. You can see the shots are a lot tighter together. They're not bouncing side to side nearly as much. And as a result, when you also combine that with a range boost, this is an excellent choice for the TAQ-56. And with that, it's now time to get into some excellent attachment combinations, and the first one I want to share with you guys here is my accuracy build. This is something that I developed that turns out to be quite similar to what a lot of the pro players are using right now in their scrims, so this could be used as a competitive setup, and with it, we're obviously gearing toward accuracy, and you can see the recoil pattern on the bottom right is significantly better than the base recoil. There is almost no side-to-side bounce or sway with this, with those initial shots especially, and therefore this is extremely accurate and easy to control. However, the downside with this is our aim down sight speed is quite slow at 350 milliseconds, so it's definitely all about positioning with this gun. You want to get yourself set up on a power position, on a good piece of cover, and once you do that, you're going to be able to shut that lane down quite effectively. You don't want to be caught running and gunning with this though. As for the next one, I wanted to branch out and make a stealth build. Even though stealth isn't one of the most powerful playstyles in this game, you can still play with it. So with this, we're using the FSS Covert V suppressor on our muzzle. We've got the Phase 3 grip. This one helps with that side-to-side bounce as it's kicking upwards. And honestly, even though this setup overall isn't built for recoil, it is still quite easy to control. In fact, the early part of that recoil pattern is still better than the base recoil on this gun, so that's nice to see. We've got the laser that helps with our aim down sight speed without hurting any other stats. We also have the Cardinal stock, which helps with our aim walking movement speed by about 10%, so you can actually kind of strafe corners with this effectively, and also strafe side to side in a gunfight to help dodge a few shots while you're getting shots on target. And then finally, we've got the Demo Clean Shot grip for our rear grip attachment. So with this, our aim down sight speed is still a bit on the slow slide, but it's much more manageable than the previous build that I had, so you can feel comfortable at least moving around the map more with this. And a big key here as well is we do have a suppressor, which is going to be great when the enemies have a UAV in the air. When they don't have a UAV up, it's not doing much for you, but the moment they do get a UAV in the air, especially if you're using Ghost and have it unlocked, this is going to be excellent for staying off the radar. And with that, that's going to wrap it up for today's gun guide on the TAQ-56 assault rifle. As for my thoughts on this gun, I really like it. I think it's great for people that are confident in their aim and really want to be locking down lanes effectively. It's got a great killing potential if you're confident in hitting your shots in those upper torso multipliers, or neck or head, of course. But outside of that, this gun can also be quite unforgiving at times, so it's kind of a high risk, high reward sort of a weapon, and I definitely see why the competitive scene is leaning toward this for their long range AR. Now, of course, those are just my thoughts on the TAQ-56. This is where I want to hear from you guys in those comments down below. What are you thinking about this gun so far? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Maybe somewhere in the middle? And also, if you guys have missed the first episode of Gun Guides, I will leave a link to the playlist in the description down below. I've already covered the M4, and we're just going to work our way through the assault rifles first. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.